I had a speech, and I guess I'll get to it later. How long do I have? Another 2 hours? You know, they never question me about in my church on how long I preach, so you know. But I want to share a couple of ideas with you, and then I'll open up to questions. Those three things are absolutely essential. That's why I'm running right now, man. And when I'm running, I would be in my church preaching and teaching right now if I didn't see the threat, if I didn't understand what was going on. We must be engaged. I think we're facing the same kind of threat that the men at the 13 colonies were facing with old King George. Was it George? I started to say James, but James was the good one, wasn't he? With George. That caused these men to recognize that they must give up their life, their sacred honor, and their treasure. And if we don't see it that way, we won't win. We won't win. If you think you need to hold on to your 501c3, and I mean your 401k, and that I'm waiting for retirement, or I can give you $5 here and $5 there, you're about to lose your 401k and everything else. This is time for us to make an investment in the salvation of this nation. I'm doing it. I could be preaching and teaching and pastoring right now. But you know what? If we don't get up and get involved, it's gone. And let me tell you how close it is. If we lose in November, it's over. If we don't get the gavel out of Nancy Pelosi's hand, it's over. Barack Obama and Nancy will change this nation. That's how important it is. Let me tell you why. I think words mean things. Words mean something. We've been hearing this stuff and we have not been paying attention. The word left-wing politics, political left, leftists, and the left. I went and I looked those words up. I said, what do they mean? It said, these are terms used to describe support for changing traditional social order and creating a more egalitarian distribution of wealth and privilege. This is what they've been saying to us on the radio and on television with, the progressive and the left wing, and we've been thinking it's just about Democrats and Republicans. No, it's about Bolsheviks and free market enterprise system. That's what it was all about. It was more than just about conservatism versus liberalism. It was an economic system. It was a political system that gives them the best opportunity to grab the power and exercise it over the hoi polloi, the masses. The term was applied to a number of revolutionary movements in Europe, especially socialism, anarchism, communism, and in contemporary politics and discourse, the term means either social liberal or socialist. And so when you hear somebody say left-wing politics, they're talking about socialist. I know all of you knew that, right? Yeah, okay. I didn't know that. I had to go find that out. I just thought it meant, Democrats versus Republican, conservative versus liberal. But it was more than that. It's more than that. And so I began to do some studying around, and I've been studying this thing. Listen, I've been engaged in this fight since 1983. 1983 is when the light bulb ding went off. When I started looking at the statistics and beginning to see that abortion was happening in my community at an unusual rate. Abortion in the African American community is at the end of this day, when the sun goes down, 1,500 black babies would have been snatched and murdered and lynched out of their mother's womb. 1,500 at the end of the day. And that's every day. You calculate that. And so I got involved. My involvement happened, and by the way, following behind Phyllis Schlafly and Tim LaHaye. If you remember in 1979, 1980, that they started the moral majority. I was a Christian and I liked what they had to say. And my last vote for a Democrat was Jimmy Carter. That was it. I was done. I was through with the Democrats. and I followed Phyllis Schlafly and Tim LaHaye, who were dealing with some social issues that meant something to me. It meant something to me. And that's the point I was trying to make with my Michelle Bachmann and with the event that took place with the SBOE, is that there are more issues on the table, men and women, than being fiscally responsible. How many of you know that Hitler came into an economic situation in Germany that was out of control? And he controlled and brought order to the economy, and at the same time stole the souls of the Germans and changed them forever. You see, the mantra in the 1990s was, "It's the economy, stupid." And I think many of us in here vote our pocketbooks far too often than we should. We need to vote our faith sometimes. It's more than the economy. It's those social issues that will forever change us. 5 issues on the table right now, men and women: abortion, euthanasia, embryonic stem cell research, human cloning, and same-sex marriage. How we respond to those issues will change this nation forever. You think it's an accident that Barack Hussein Obama is right now trying to change the culture of the military? Our good men and women, I know a lot of guys who say, "I'm not going in if they change that. I'm not going to join." Join the military so my commanding officer can wink at me and say, "Hey, baby, how you?" Can you imagine that? Your CO is winking at you, talking about tonight. Something's happening in America, and then we better wake up. A community organizer is running our nation right now. You think that's by accident? That's by design. In Alinsky's model of organizing, an organizer is a euphemism for a revolution. A wholesale revolution whose ultimate objective is the systematic acquisition of power by a purportedly oppressed segment of the population, and the radical transformation of America's social and economic structure. Community organizer is another word for revolution. And that's what we're experiencing right now, men and women. We got a community organizer who is really a revolutionary. He is an ideologue. He is not an empty suit. Don't you dare think for a moment that this is a dumb man. He is not. We accuse him of not having experience. He said, the experiences you think I need to have, I don't need that experience. The experience I have is knowledge of dialectic, communist dialectic, theses, antitheses, communism. He said, that's the experience I have. I don't have the experience that you think I need. I don't need that experience. What I need is to understand how to change this country. Somebody has set out to change this country, and they have targeted and appointed him to do so. He's just the front man. He's just the front man. There's an evil oligarchy that's standing behind them. How many of you heard of Cloward and Piven? Cloward and Piven were professors at Columbia University who wrote the strategy that is called orchestrated or manufactured crises. Orchestrated or manufactured crises. Another word for it is the chaos theory. In order to change one order, you've got to create chaos. When you create chaos, you can create a new world order. Men and women, ever since this man got in office, we have had crises after crises after crises. I submit to you that it was orchestrated crises. How do you change America? By bankrupting her or causing her economy to equivocate. Somebody's messing with the economic engine. They're putting sugar in the tank. They're trying to deliberately break our economic engine to change us.